12. My name is Carden Madzokere. I'm the author and publisher of the Distinction Bound Student Textbooks, and welcome to Activity 1.7 under Perfect Markets. Right, as usual, it says study the graph below and answer the questions that follow. Right, as we study this graph, what we see is that it says perfect competition, and it doesn't tell us the type of profit made, but clearly we can see it's a normal profit because AR is equal to AC. If you look here, AR is 200, AC at the profit maximizing output of 180 is also 200. So 200 minus 200 is equal to 0. Okay, then another thing we see, this is the profit maximizing point. We have three quantities given. Obviously, the quantity is 180. They made it too obvious, but if they ask that question, that would be weird because it's too obvious. If there was another point, maybe it has to be of intersection. Well, for a normal profit, it's weird to ask that. It's too obvious. There's only one point here. Okay, all right. Anything we can study here? It's a perfect competition. The firm is making normal profit. So let's anticipate some questions. Identify the market structure. That will be perfect. And then identify the profit maximizing point. That will be A. What kind of profit is the firm making, or calculate the profit that is being made. What conditions must prevail for this firm to shut down? So then that's when AVC comes into the picture, where AVC intersects MC, or you can say that will be the shutdown point, yes. But the shutdown rule says a firm should consider shutting down if its price or AR is less or equal to AVC. Okay, let's look at the questions. Number 1, we see it already. Identify the quantity of the firm will produce at equilibrium point. That will be 180. That's the easiest question you can ever find. It's actually illegal to get this one wrong because it's almost impossible. Right, which curve represents the market price for the perfect competitor? Well, it's AR is equal to MR is equal to DD. This curve here that you see here, the demand curve, the horizontal line, whatever it is that you can say. But yeah, just copy what you see there. AR, MR, DD. Briefly describe the term normal profit. Well, normal profit is a situation where average revenue is equal to average cost. Then what would the impact on the market be? Now, it's not too specific, like what in the market price or quantity or whatever. So it's general, but let's hear. What would the impact be on the market? What would the impact on the market be if many firms would leave this industry? Well, in a perfect market, price is determined by forces of demand and supply. And so if firms would leave, it's going to affect the supply curve. So the supply curve is going to shift to the left, or the supply will decrease. And if supply decreases, it's going to cause price to go up. Basically, that's what would happen. What else would you talk about? Then redraw the above graph by inserting the average variable cost curve, AVC, to clearly indicate the shutdown point. So basically, the AVC shapes exactly like the AC, and it always has to be below the AVC because AC, or average cost, is AVC plus AFC. AFC, that's average fixed cost. So if we put our fixed costs and our variable costs, we get total cost. So if fixed cost plus variable cost is equal to total cost, divide each of the three variables that I gave, you get average total cost, which is average cost. We get average variable cost, we get average fixed cost. Now, obviously, since AC is a total of these two other costs, as in fixed and variable, then total cost will always be more than a variable cost or fixed cost. So there is no way an AVC will ever be equal to AC, because the beyond variable cost there is also fixed costs. So it will always be below the AVC. So you draw a shape, a curve that shapes exactly like the AC, but then you make sure you put it below the AVC. Then whatever point of intersection that is created to the MC, that's the shutdown point. So let me show you how it's going to look like. Okay, so as we look at number one, we got it right. Identify the quantity, that's 180. No other quantity made sense. Then what curve represents the market price for the perfect competitor? That's the AR is equal to MR and equal to DD, but you could just write one of the three. Then briefly describe the term normal profit. Well, I defined it as a situation or a profit where AR is equal to AC. Here it's defined as the minimum earning requirement to prevent an entrepreneur from leaving the market, or where total cost is equal to total revenue. Well, accept any other correct relevant response like the one I gave. Then what would the impact on the market be if many firms leave this industry? Well, the supply curve, like I said, in the market will shift to the left or decrease in supply, and then the market price will increase, obviously, because of that. We know the supply curve is upward sloping and the demand curve is downward sloping. So if the supply shifts to the left, they'll intersect at a higher equilibrium. Okay. Then the last one was redraw the same graph with the same numbers that you saw. Yes, all you had to do was to add the AVC. You see the shape, they're both U-shaped. And like I said, the AVC will always be below the AC. So if we look at the two curves, the two curves here, I'm referring to MC and AVC, they intersect at a lower point. In this case, then you just had to indicate that's the shutdown point, and marks are being allocated this way. Correct drawing and labeling of AVC the way it should be shaped, 2 marks, and then correct labeling of the shutdown point. So all you had to do was to copy the graph you saw and then put it anywhere. It doesn't have to be at 150, it can be at 100, it's something that you just make up. But the thing we're looking for is that your AVC must be below, anywhere below. You can put it here, you can put it here. It's all up to you. Just put it somewhere as long as it's below. It'll be wrong if you put it above, because it's impossible. That can never happen. Well, I guess this has brought us to the end of our video. As usual, like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.